Hello again, hockey fans. Are you ready to brave the wild with me, your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan? Brave the Wild is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps and also on THPN, the Hockey Podcast Network. That is THPN. I want to thank Dylan and Kyle so much for having me on board the Hockey Podcast Network, coming in out of Vancouver, British Columbia. Really appreciate it, guys. It means a lot. And, well, here we are. The playoffs continue. We'll have a reaction to the Bill Guerin and John Hynes press conference. Yes, John Hynes and the coaching staff are all going to remain intact. Am I a huge fan? Not necessarily, but is it the end of the world? No. We'll see how things go. Yeah, John Hynes finally got out of the first round, but we got out of the first round, and we'll see what happens after that. Golden Knights already doing okay, but that's a prequel. This is going to be a 2-segment show. It's just be this conversation, kind of the press conference conversation, look at the conference finals on both sides a bit, and kind of how teams got there a little bit, and then, of course, fan interaction. So, sound good? Otherwise, yeah, well, John Hynes and the staff are returning. Yes, that's done. They have full confidence in them, and so on and so forth, and the interesting conversations in the press conference. Bill Guerin, and of course, off the press conference and into like the Barrero type episodes and PA and such, that Bill Guerin's more actually disappointed in Game 4 than Game 5 because how the team played to the structure. And I know it might sound like I'm parroting, but I mean, well, it's what Bill Guerin said. That basically that Bill Guerin said that the team played to the game plan in Game 3, and things worked out great, and they killed the Colorado Avalanche, just crushed them. In the Game 4, things kind of went the opposite. The team did not play the game plan, and play into the game plan and all that, buy into the game plan, and they just, I don't know, they were in it, and then they weren't in it, and then it was just an ugly game, and it was extremely frustrating. Whereas 5, the team played well, and then everything collapsed. Things kind of a very similar scenario came up with the Vegas Golden Knights, as we'll get into that in a little later. But crazy, well, funny, they're up 1-0, and the Wild didn't win their game. So there's your spoiler alert, I guess, if there's such a thing. Yes, the Minnesota Wild will be doing their best to try to make another major acquisition in the off season. We'll get into that right now. Who knows? Possible candidates. Some people are talking about like Austin Matthews and such. That would be pretty wild, pretty exciting and everything. But Bill Guerin also said, yeah, of course we have the chips, and that nobody's, there is no untouchable player. Wayne Gretzky got traded. That's always brought up because, well, he did. he did get traded. Wayne Gretzky got traded when the Oilers won their 4th Stanley Cup. Like, that's weird. It is weird. Though, again, there were other things going on behind the scenes. What was his wife wanted to be an actress and stuff. And did that really work out? Not really. The Los Angeles Kings went to 1 Stanley Cup Finals, as we could say with the S, back in '93. And that was the last time the Montreal Canadiens, or any Canadian, but the Canadiens, the Habs, won the Stanley Cup. So, of course, appropriate that the Montreal Canadiens were the last team to win the Stanley Cup because it was their 24th. They have the most Stanley Cups of any NHL franchise all time, dating back to, the beginning. And they've been there since the beginning. Other teams came and went over the years, like the Seattle Metropolitans, just throwing that random little miniature ant hole rather than a rabbit hole out there for you. Montreal's still alive, by the way, and who knows, maybe they'll be the team to end the drought. Right now, they're the only team remaining that can, because Edmonton failed in their last 2 attempts to do so. All right, so possible acquisitions in the offseason may be too expensive here when we look at things, and odds are that the Minnesota Wild want to keep their 2 goaltenders, but who knows? Who knows? Speaking of goaltenders, of course, Jasper Wallstedt, as you may have heard, has a hip injury. It was kind of a wear and tear type of thing, and it's going to be a few months. He's going to require surgery, and it'll be a few months, but he should be ready for the regular season and the training camp and all that in the fall, late summer, early fall, because often things start at the end of September for that. So if Philip Gustafsson is still with the Minnesota Wild, and that could explain some of the reason for his diminishing play dating back into the Olympics and such. Philip Gustafsson was simply not good. You hope he's okay. You hope it's just a wear and tear and he'll be all right. That type of thing. Other guys had injuries similar to that. Like, didn't Nicholas Backstrom have this kind of thing? And then I don't know. It's just he just kind of kept getting older and slower and wasn't that good. He went from a guy who was like, why would you even consider starting him? He went from a guy that's like, why would you consider not starting him? But of course, Mr. Backstrom was overused back in those days, and I don't know. A lot of goaltenders were overused, and that was kind of the thing. Guys like Nicholas Backstrom, we relied on him too much, and you have Josh Bleepin Harding for Pete's sake, and then unfortunately MS took over his career. And ruined it. And that's a damn shame because I think Josh Harding could have been an awesome goaltender. Like, yeah, I really like Josh Harding. I don't think I'm alone in that opinion. He's one of those guys, like, you know, you mentioned, like, man, what could have been? Yeah, Josh Harding's a huge one. Huge one. He didn't necessarily, yeah, and he wasn't projected as a star or anything, but he could have possibly been close to being one at the very least. I believe there's something in the Twitter coming up in the fan interaction that'll get there. I wonder if there's any responses to it. But it was a cool question. So, Volstead, I mean, I keep sticking to the whole thing. He should be the starter next year. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Will Philip Gustafsson be traded? There's a strong possibility. Bill Guerin saying basically what Bob Negley said all those years ago. Robert Negley, Bob Negley, years ago in person when my friend Mike Holzer, we were all there. We were in the parking ramp. This is back in 2003. I mean, it was like, wow, like the people I ran into that day. We were in the parking ramp. Mike's dad gave us all kind of a ride, just like what the heck, kind of a carpool type of thing. We all went into the, we were in the ramp to go to this Taste of the Wild type of thing that they do every year around Marchish. February, March, I believe it was March. Supposedly, I didn't see it happen, but supposedly Mike's dad almost hit Bob. And he's like, sorry, Bob. I'm like, Bob, who's Bob? Oh, what? Because Bob Negley used to go to our church many years ago, too, by the way. Many years ago, like the first church, Speak the Word, which is crazy. So we actually, my parents kind of knew him. Like they recognized them. He'd say that he knew them on a first name basis, not last name necessarily. And it was pretty wild. Pun not intended. I'm like, what the heck? That's Bob Negley. And then, like, just in case you're wondering who that is, you should know, right? But just in case you're maybe a youngster, former owner of the Wild, of course, the original owner of the Minnesota Wild, Mike started, because Mike is the kind of guy, he'll say what's on his mind, whether it's a good time to say it or not. He's kind of one of those type of guys. And we had, back then we had Rolly and Manny, right? Dwayne Rolliston and Manny Fernandez. And Mike said, Bob, trade Manny. Trade Manny like we could get assets for him, stuff like that. And then Bob said, no, I don't think we want to because, we want to keep both goalies here because they're so, they're both great goalies and you want to keep them both as long as we can. That type, paraphrasing, that type of thing. And you're pretty much doing the same thing from Bill Guerin right now. That doesn't mean that nobody's going to get traded. But, yeah, I mean, I understand the reasoning why you'd want to keep him. It's a great goalie tandem. Why would you want to lose either one of them? Who knows, though? Seems like 5 minutes ago it was like, oh my God, we need help in the net. Man, these guys are terrible. So things change pretty quick. So we'll see what happens with Gustafsson. What's happening in the off season and such. People say he had a bad attitude behind the scenes. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but that's what's out there. Cap space adjustments. Minnesota heads into the offseason with an estimated $15.3 million in cap space. That's interesting, giving them room to absorb a major contract, but also necessitating cost-cutting measures, especially to accommodate a massive contract extension for a superstar defenseman, guy by the name of Quinn Hughes. Should we talk about him now? Yeah, Bill Guerin did a Mr. Obvious line just to kind of tease the reporter. Yes, we're interested in re-signing Quinn Hughes. It's like, yeah, and then they're all kind of chuckling. Yeah, they are re-interested in re-signing him. They are interested. And talk is that Quinn Hughes is feeling very loyal to the Minnesota Wild, especially for giving up so much for him in the trade. And, well, it's a good situation. He's happy here. He likes the city. He wants to kind of explore it some more in the summer and all of that. Talk is that it'll be a three-year extension if it happens. That's what they're seeking. Who knows? Maybe it'll be 8 years and we're talking $1 bajillion. But conversation is that it's a 3-year extension, at least for now. Something in the range of 14 to 17, but probably a little bit on the lower end. Not because he's not worth as much as Kirill Kaprizov was bringing in 17, but because he wants to kind of keep the cap situation reasonable. A lot, I mean, even Connor McDavid did that, believe it or not, with the Edmonton Oilers. Of all people, Connor bleeping McDavid did that. So that could be the thought process here with Quinn Hughes. Somewhere in the 14 to 15 range is what they're, we're all just speculating here. Allow me to speculate. Please don't object to my speculation, counselor, if that's appropriate, and of course don't sustain it, Your Honor. Sorry, I'm taking that too long. But yeah, something around those ranges, maybe like 15 million, 3 years. Again, kind of guessing 45 mil, 3 years. I'd like to keep him longer, but we'll see what happens. And of course, Michael Russo also commented about how, that Kirill Kaprizov's contract is probably not going to age well because he'll be pretty old at the end of his contract. Yeah, we're going to keep him forever, at least most likely. Like they say, nobody's safe. Somebody could get traded at any time. You just never know in this league. But I don't think it's going to age as poorly. I better watch what I say. Knocking on wood. I don't think this Kirill Kaprizov's contract is going to age as poorly as Zach Parise and Ryan Suter, especially Zach Parise. Suter could still play when he left. Parise barely could. Like Parise was like basically a bottom three by the time he was traded away, bought out. Where Suter could kind of still play, and then it's like it was almost like right when he left, he started showing signs of age, like not major signs. And I know Derek chuckled about that, like we're seeing some age from Ryan Suter. It was kind of funny how he said in our show a couple years ago. It was funny. We were seeing age, like he was slowing down because we're not big fans of Ryan Suter around Brave the Wild and Crease Justice podcast. We're not big fans. Maybe we were at the beginning and for a while, but you know what I mean? Things kind of came out and just watching how things were going, it was like, dude, this guy is controlling too much. He had too much power. It was ridiculous. Utterly preposterous. And it was. But I do believe Quinn Hughes does resign with the Minnesota Wild. Yes, but it's going to, how things go. Things haggle. Things take a while. So he's not going to be re-signed on June 1st unless we're really lucky. It's one of those. Bill Guerin wants to remind us that because over and over, and everything does take a while in this world, including in the workplace. Everything takes a while. Heck, and this is a workplace, you could say, when it comes to the National Hockey League. It's their workplace. It's a little more dangerous, but it's a lot funner, let's say, than the average workplace if you enjoy the game, and I hope you do if you're playing it at a very high level. Possible major acquisitions in the offseason. The Wild. Why do I always... it's like I get too hyper. The Wild did try to acquire Robert Thomas from the St. Louis Blues during, as we headed towards the trade deadline. Would he have been a good acquisition? Probably, but he would have been an expensive one. As I try to pull him up here. Yep, he would be... Yep. He's 26 at the moment, a lot like a certain defenseman. He did win the Stanley Cup as a rookie for the St. Louis Blues. He has been he would be a top center here, there's no doubt. And of late, he's been pretty damn good. Did miss a number of games last year, though, 18 to be exact, 64 games and 64 points. So like an 80-point pace the last 3 years. 82 games 2 years ago with 86 points, 26 of them goals against 60 assists. Like Quinn Hughes numbers when it comes to assists. 70 games the next year, so missed 12, of course. Simple math there. 81 games, so probably on a 90-point pace that year. And then last year, right at that 82-point pace for the Blues, 25 goals there. Not a major goal scorer, but a decent goal scorer. But again, that playmaking center, I can get it done, win faceoffs and such. He had 8 points in 7 playoff games in 24-25. So that was that. The Blues did get out of the... Or did they? I don't think they got out of the first round. I think they lost in 7. That's what happened there. Yeah, the math wouldn't make any sense beyond 7. I mean, what am I talking about? You don't play 3 games and win a series. So, yes, so they did lose a 7-game series there, but he had 8 points in that. So, very nice sample when it came to the postseason during the Stanley Cup run. Very young player, 33 points in the season, so kind of a half a point guy. He had 5 points in 21 games, or 6 points. Sorry. So his playoff numbers not spectacular early in his career, but then as he's gotten a little bit older, I mean, he's just 26 he'll be turning 27, unfortunately, on July 2nd, right around free agency. but definitely has developed into a nice player. Won a couple of championships in the OHL with the London Knights 10 whole years ago. Wow, way back. He'd have been 16 years old. Wow, 25, 15, 16. He was 16 years old. Huh. Wow. Okay. Wow, that's crazy. He was a first-round pick by the Blues, 20th overall, so he's been there ever since. 2017 draft. So, yeah, won the Stanley Cup as a rookie. Congratulations there. Hopefully he could win one with Minnesota. But, well, it'd be nice if that were to take place, wouldn't it? The Wild did offer Jesper Wallstedt and Danila Yurov. So two major prospects would have been heading to the St. Louis Blues. And talk is that the Blues turned it down. So, all right. He's a nice player. Yeah, he's like an 80-point guy. So, I mean, this isn't just some meh player. This is a legit guy. Now, hopefully he can stay healthy. He missed 18 games last year, so that's a little bit frustrating. Dylan Larkin, Detroit Red Wings. I've been obsessed with Dylan Larkin forever. I'm a Dylan Larkin stan, as they say. The young people call it stan, I do believe. Oh, man. He's an elite, proven top-line center. Yes, pulling him to Detroit would be difficult because they want their own. Yeah, I mean, he's Detroit's been trying to. Detroit keeps trying to grow, but they haven't been growing. That's the problem. Like every time, okay, we're gonna finally get back in the playoffs, and it's just crazy how a team like Detroit made the playoffs. I don't know, like 30 years in a row or something. I mean, what was it like? Like 1989 to like 2016 or something. I mean, that's insane. So I don't even know how that's humanly possible to make the playoffs that many years in a row. Or 89 was the last year they didn't make it. I think they started making it in 89. It's just nuts. And then, they haven't been back forever. Dylan Larkin, he did make the playoffs a couple times. Yeah, the first year, his rookie year, 15-16. 15th overall pick. He's 29. I thought he was older, but he is getting older, unfortunately, and he's July 30th, one day after me, but in 96. So, yeah, Larkin's a tiny bit younger than I thought, and that's good. Good. A tiny bit younger. I thought he was like 33. He's only 29. So, but he will be 30 when he would come to Minnesota in a trade. So I wouldn't give up the farm for a guy that's turning 30 because 30 is kind of a funky number in the National Hockey League. I mean, we've been there and done that here, haven't we? You know, the guy by the name of Jason Pominville, 30, 31, and it's like he came in at like 29 or something. I do believe looked so good. And then it's like 2 years later, it's like, what the heck? What happened? Like 18 goals. He was like a 35-goal guy just like last year. What the hell? What's going on? And it wasn't like he was hurt all the time. I'm sure he's banged up because that's what happens a lot of times. That's why you didn't see a whole lot of spectacular play from Vladimir Tarasenko. Bill Guerin said he was banged up a bit. So, well, probably was. He probably was. Obviously, the broken talus with Mr. Drew Larsenak and the broken toe, big toe on was it the right foot? Left? I think it was the left foot, actually, with the Jonas Brodin trying to block a shot. And then Eck was just kind of a freak injury falling into the wall. God dang it. You know, it was kind of similar to the injury to Ryan Suter. I remember it was like the same thing, kind of the foot kind of went into the wall. And it's like, great. You just know he broke something. So, yes, the Red Wings have been out of the playoffs since, 16 was the last time they made it. Dylan Larkin had one goal because he was a rookie in the league, a pretty good rookie, but only one goal in 5 games. Detroit hasn't been back. Freaking crazy. It's weird. Dylan Larkin has generally been a healthy guy. He's never reached 80 points. His career high was 79 in 22-23. But obviously a stalwart center who can kind of do it all. He can win faceoffs and he can also, defend and such. Just a stalwart center who can get it done. Like about a 70-point guy is what I would just kind of guesstimation as to where he is. Like you see 69, you see 70, 67, 69, 79. So that's kind of been his career, about a 70-point center. He'd be certainly the top guy here. And maybe the numbers would be higher when you think of the Kaprizov, Boldy type players around him in the situation. So who knows? His points probably would be higher, and he is more of a goal scorer than just kind of like a 26 goals, 60 assist guy like Robert Thomas. In this case, this is kind of a 30 something kind of guy. 34, 33 last year. 34 goals last year in 74 games. So not bad, eh? Generally more assists, but still is a 30-goal guy the last 5 years in a row at the very least. Also had 30 goals in 18-19. Missed a little time, had kind of a disappointing year in 1920, but 1920, what the hell am I talking about? Everybody missed time that year. Why is that? No. It's very disappointing year in 2021. Probably had COVID or something along the way, because only 44 games. I remember it was a shortened season, but I mean, he was a half a point guy that year. Like, what happened? So he was like playing at like a 40-point pace that year, 41 points pace. So must have had COVID or something along the way, because like half of the league, probably 3/4 of the league had it at some point during the course of that span, that time span. Remember, you're playing fantasy hockey, and it's like look it up. Ah, great. It says COVID-19. It's like blankety blank. Like your player's out with COVID. There goes 2 weeks of him. Ugh. So it's like, dang it. Well, get better, buddy. That type of thing. One cute little stat here. He's got 499 penalty minutes. So his next penalty will get him the 500th penalty minute. Wahoo. He does get his share, 48 last year. It's not like this epic number, like 360 penalty minutes or something. He's not Basil McRae, but yeah, he'll get his penalties here and there. But he'll be standing up for teammates and such. His career high was 75 back in 18-19, pardon me, which is the year the Wild, the summer, the Wild ended up getting Bill Guerin. I remember 19 in a very positive way. It was kind of a fun summer. I liked it. I had way too much vacation, and it was awesome. I mean, there's nothing better than having too much vacation time where it's like you need to use it because it's going to go away. Oh, that was a fun summer, and it was nice out a lot, too, that year. So I have fond memories whenever I think of the summer of 19. And I kind of enjoyed seeing the Blues win a Stanley Cup, even though they were a bitter rival to the North Stars and the Wild. And, well, I don't know, we kind of don't like the Blues all that much. Their former coach is still a free agent, and yes, like my crystal ball prediction last week, he did interview with the Edmonton Oilers, so we'll see what happens there. I kind of figured that's why the Oilers, it was like the timing was like it was one of those type of moments. It's like funny. Toronto, like, all of a sudden fires Craig Berube, and it's like, interesting, like they waited a long time, they've been out forever. Edmonton had been out for a few weeks, and now then they decided to fire Chris Knobloch. Like the same day, basically. It was like just a few hours, basically, after the Toronto Maple Leafs fire Craig Berube, the Oilers decided to fire Knobloch, and it's like, okay, put two and two together there. They would probably like to get Craig Berube, and who knows, there might be a behind the scenes, conversation going on, the back channeling and such that people do, that executives do in every league. They just do. It is what it is. It's not illegal. It's just people back channel. Like, if they get rid of you, we would like to bring you here, and it's like, okay, that type of thing. So, there probably was some kind of conversation. Would you be interested in coaching here? I'm sure Craig Berube would be interested in coaching the Edmonton Oilers, even though it's kind of a weird situation at times. You got star players, but it just feels like an incomplete team in so many ways. They passed on Jesper Wallstedt. Imagine if they took him. Who knows? He wouldn't have necessarily brought them to a Stanley Cup last year, but again, who knows how much faster his development would have been in Edmonton. Who knows? They certainly would have needed him sooner, I'm sure. Dylan Larkin would make a wonderful acquisition, but what's the price tag? I don't know. It's not going to be cheap. And they love him there. They value him. But at the same time, Detroit, they just keep failing. Like, every time it looks like they're going to do something, maybe they do want to get younger. Who knows? Where Robert Thomas clearly is an expensive guy. Volstead and Daniil Yurov weren't enough. And I don't know. If I'd be interested in Volstead and Yurov. But I don't know if you want to trade away your 26-year-old star center. So it's a conversation out there that is being had, I suppose, at the end of the day. So those are like the other ones. Austin Matthews would cost a fortune. I don't know if that's realistic. There was it felt like satire. Like, how AI is. People put AI posts out there about God knows what, including like stupid, ridiculous stuff like, oh, the passing of Latrell Sprewell. It's like, he didn't die. Why are we doing this? Why are we posting stuff about deaths of people that are still alive? And there's no reason for them to be, for that conversation to even exist. Like, they're not in hospice or something. Like, this is weird. Stop it. And it's sick and disgusting, actually. But then there's kind of goofy ones like the Wild sign the Wild sign Mitch Marner to a big contract. It's like, but he's on the Golden Knights right now and they're in the playoffs. It's like, okay. So, yay, we signed Mitch Marner, I guess. Sure we did. We signed Mitch Marner. Yeah, okay. But, I mean, it's like it's an interesting thought, I guess. I don't think the Wild will be signing Mitch Marner. But good luck to him and good luck to the Golden Knights. We'll see how that turns out. What was the other conversations out there? One of the reporters asked about Boldy at center. Bill Guerin said, yeah, I mean, maybe once in a while, but generally speaking, he's better as a winger. And that John Hines also prefers Matt Boldy as a winger. So it's not the dumbest idea. And Boldy was a center at one point. Wasn't he considered a center in his youth? And then he kind of moved to wing and became a better player, basically, with Boston. Was it Boston College, I believe he was on? Yeah, Boston College. And, well, the rest is history. He kept getting better and better and better as a winger, and I think so. I think that's where he should be. He scored 42 goals last year. I mean, if that's his game, you know, if his game is scoring, produces 42 goals, you might as well leave it alone. I mean, he can always improve, become more consistent and such, maybe get stronger and stronger and stronger if it doesn't slow him down, that type of thing. But he has played a lot more physical than in the past. He was kind of a softie who kind of stayed away from the net before. He'd get you 29 to 32, like to 30 goals or so, 29, 30 goals. But it was kind of on the soft side, kind of playing out in the slot versus, you know, getting closer to the net and being willing to get dirty. And that was kind of a transformation for Matt Boldy when he was more willing to do that. So we appreciate that very much at the end of the day. Again, going into the offseason, we're all very excited about Charlie Stramel. I guess that's how we say it, Charlie Stramel. I've been saying Stramel forever. But still recovering from that broken ankle during the tournament. Sorry for clearing my throat every 10 seconds. But, yeah, still recovering from that. And, well, looking forward to seeing what he can do. He could be a trade chip. And, yeah, you know, nobody's safe. So that's the conversation with Charlie Stramel. Going forward, he could be a nice trade acquisition, otherwise a wonderful third-line center going forward, or even a second-line center, and he would have been a nice replacement for Jules Eriksson. Some people do compare him a little bit to Jules Eriksson's type of game, that physical defensive style that can score, that can get it done, that can win some faceoffs as well. So faceoffs are very important. Charlie Stramel was one of the best players in college hockey last year with 44 points in 37 games, 25 assists. Along the way, 19 goals, pardon me. But unfortunately was knocked out in the postseason and, you know, with injury, insult and injury, basically, at the end of the day. So it was unfortunate. Michigan State, no national championship. And, well, Charlie Stramel's run there is over. He was a senior, so time to go. And he has signed with the Minnesota Wild with his entry-level contract. And I'm guessing he skates with Iowa, maybe for like a moment to get him kind of going, but who knows? Maybe he just makes the team outright, and if he does, great. You know, there's a pretty good chance he will. We'll see. It's going to be a fun, interesting summer for this franchise, along with the Minnesota Timberwolves. We'll talk about that tomorrow on Timberwolves Explosion, because both of these teams took steps forward this year, but clearly there's more to do. There's more to get done. The Wild need a center. No doubt about it. They need a top-line center if they can get one, or other acquisitions to simply make the team better. I continue to say that I think our second pair is kind of like toast. I think our second pair is toast. Like, we're set at the top. We're absolutely set at the top. God willing, they stay healthy. Quinn Hughes and Brock Faber. But Brodin gets hurt way too much. If he's healthy, yeah, he's a perfect second pair defenseman. So pray to God he stays healthy. It was a freak injury. It wasn't like oh, what a wuss, you know. No, he's not a wimp. It was a freak injury type of thing, as was Jules Eriksson. But it's like you'd like to believe that, you know, even if you don't have to make some huge trade acquisition and trade away any draft picks we have left or prospects we have in the system that are very promising, that certain players from within can hopefully develop into something and actually become a middle six center like a Charlie Stramel can help, you know, add to the whole situation. Obviously, you'd like to get a top guy, but at least also add, like say, not only to fill Jules Eriksson's role if he's out, but to add to the team as well. You know, like you have a better third line center, or if Jules Eriksson's going to be the top guy, he could be the second guy in Charlie Stramel. But also on the defenseman side, what prospects could potentially move into that second pairing versus the third? Like you have a million guys you could say, oh, third pair, like Damon Hunt and Bogosian forever. Now we're probably going to move on there. I would think so. Who could possibly move into that role? Like Jack Pert, I say probably not right now. But Carson Lambos, could he? Could Carson Lambos possibly become a second pair defenseman? And he was projected as that coming out of the draft. And you see encouraging signs from Carson Lambos in Iowa. And the other guy that I've just, I'm a big fan, but what kind of development is he going to have in the NHL? Is he going to actually translate to the National Hockey League? I really hope so. Is David Spacek. Could he possibly be a second pair? Obviously, you're going to open things up with him as a third pair, but could he possibly move up? Like Faber, when he first came to the Wild, he was third pair, wasn't he? And then it's like second pair, basically. He didn't give up a single, or he wasn't on the ice for a single goal in the postseason in his, first run with the Minnesota Wild. Him being Brock Faber. Spacek went from a guy, David Spacek, of course, and the Wild did keep the right David instead of Juracek. So that was a good decision, I think. Everybody thought basically Spacek is gone. I mean, we're stuck with Juracek. We traded away like so many pieces to get him. But we magically got Damon Hunt back, so we appreciate that. He was part of that trade. But with the Iowa Wild, David Spacek 2 years ago was a minus 17 with 31 points, right? Last year, he was a -1 with 36 points. And this is in 13 less games because he was up with Minnesota, but just getting scratched all the time. And I do believe he had a minor injury along the way as well. He missed a few games. 2 games so far with Minnesota and a -1. So there's that with David Spacek. Could he potentially move up into the second pair role, like maybe a year or two from now? The unfortunate part is we are in a win-now situation. Kirill Kaprizov is nearing 30 years of age. That's part of the thing. So we are in a win-now situation. But I think I'd love to see Spacek on this team. He's not that young. He's 23. I think it's time for him to break through and become an NHL defenseman. Like Spacek, I think it's time. Whoa, what am I hitting here? Don't you hate that? I have no idea what I just did. Okay, everything's still there. And that's what matters. But Spacek, I think, took some wonderful steps forward the last couple of years. Well, yeah, like even last year, the numbers were pretty good. Like 31 points is nice, but 36 now. And this is with an awful team in Iowa. I mean, they have not been good. Now, they made some nice, cute little runs, like post-mortem wins, you could say, when they were already basically dead. So, we appreciated that in so many ways. What Spacek was able to do. Spacek was, of course, a 5th-round pick, so he'd be a hell of a 5th-round pick if he ends up being a nice, solid player. Where Carson Lambos was 26th overall in 2021. Carson Lambos, again, was projected as a second-pair defenseman. Like, not going to be a top pair, but a second-pair defenseman in that draft. And he was taken in the first round. He also took some steps forward the last couple of years. His numbers aren't all that spectacular in the scoring department, but from 23-24 with the Iowa Wild, Carson Lambos went from a -13 to a +5 the next year. Last year he was a -4, but still way the heck better than a -13. And again, this is a team that was losing games 5-1 at 5-1, 6-0, stuff like that. There are some awful games. So to be only a -4 is extremely encouraging, and a guy that does not put up the scoring numbers like a Spacek. Could Carson Lambos possibly be a second pair type of guy? Hard to say, but I think he could at least be a third pair coming forward pretty soon. Hopefully as soon as next year. And Damon Hunt, of course, we're all, I would say, fairly impressed. I don't think anybody's like, Damon Hunt, ugh, get him out of there. He sucks. What are we doing here? Like, you don't get that feeling with Damon Hunt on the ice at all. So you did feel that at times with Mike Riley. Mike Riley, guys like that. He was pretty average to below average, and it was frustrating as all get out. Damon Hunt was a 3rd-round pick. remember, 65th overall in 2020 in the Marco Rossi draft. He did have 6 points last year to Damon Hunt, so not bad. He's capable of some offense. Okay, with the Cleveland, that's penalty minutes. No, he's been a minus pretty much the whole of the way. He was a -3 with the Wild, but still played 32 games. So getting some significant TOI. No, sorry, well, just being on the, I don't know about time on ice. What am I saying? But getting to play in 32 games was a career high, and the 6 points and such. I think he's at very least a nice third pair defenseman. So I got to think Damon Hunt is with the Wild next year unless he's packaged with some kind of trade. But then again, he's going to arbitration. That's his contract situation. So we're in no rush to say goodbye to Damon Hunt necessarily. At least I would hope so. Faber is signed until 2033. Quinn Hughes, of course, would become a UFA in the summer of 27. I strongly believe we're trying to prevent that to at least get him inked until 2030-ish. Spurgeon finally becomes notice I said finally, becomes a UFA in 2027 because I don't think he should be on the second pair anymore. And if he is, it's just like, okay, I guess for now, but can we do better? You know, that kind of thing. Middleton, see, he's a left shot. Hunt is a left shot, so that's a little bit frustrating at the end of the day. I do believe Spacek is oh no, I closed it. Don't you just hate that? I'm pretty sure Spacek is a right shot, so that's the good part. Obviously, you can't put left and left together, so that's the annoying part. You can't necessarily have Middleton and Hunt together, so that can complicate things at times when you're hoping for, putting guys on the bottom pair. I mean, you can, but it doesn't always work out so great, which is frustrating. Sorry, my mind is just floating around right now. And yes, Spacek is a right shot, thank God. So yes, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. Like, never assume, always verify. As an old, really good private detective once said, by the name of Bill Deere. He's still alive. He's in his 80s. Yes, Bill Deere, William Deere. Anyhow, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm kind of looking at. You're hoping to build within at the defensive position, but also, could you possibly acquire a defenseman who is a legitimate second pair via free agency or trades and such? We're going to dig deeper into that in the future off-season shows. But generally speaking, this team needs to upgrade at the defenseman. They do. Like, it's not just center, it's defenseman as well. Because guys like Middleton, Spurgeon just didn't get it done. And Bogosian he's just, damaged goods, that kind of thing. He's old, he's banged up, was a wonderful third pair, won a Stanley Cup with the Lightning, good guy in the locker room and all that. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, if you want to keep in the organization somehow, otherwise, if he wants to move on to, whoever wants to move on to Carolina or something, I mean, God bless him. But you could always possibly bring him back to the organization. Seems like the kind of guy you'd want around, but at the same time, not necessarily on your third pair anymore. I mean, again, God bless him, but just don't see it. Like Petrie, 38, I see no path to bringing him back. So we'll have to wait and see where that turns out and such. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. We'll dig deeper and deeper into future episodes. Probably put together a little bit extra with possible free agency and moves where it'll be strictly about that and such. Kind of a long first segment, but it is what it is. I mean, that's kind of what we're here for, is to look at that. We can look at the league really quick, the postseason and such. We do call it the playoffs and the Stanley Cup playoffs and all that. As we try to delve into that, my apologies, I'm kind of bumping into things here. Being clumsy, man. Yes, the Colorado Avalanche beat the Wild. We're happy for them. Vegas did get past Anaheim ultimately in 6 games. Good job. They went into Anaheim and won 5-1. That was impressive. We'll get back to that in a second. Western Conference Final, as predicted by yours truly. The only one that was incorrect so far was I thought Edmonton would beat the Ducks. So that's the only incorrect prediction in the West. In the East, didn't I have Tampa beating Montreal? So it's like, yeah, I did, but just, I don't know. It was close. They lost 2-1. Fine. But Ottawa is in the conference finals, which I did predict. I did predict Philadelphia beating them. I did predict Buffalo beating Boston. Yes, I did. Which I should have, right? But then Montreal beat the Buffalo Sabres, a very high-scoring, epic, high-flying series. Absolutely crazy series. Probably the most exciting one so far in this postseason. I think it was. The Vegas-Anaheim series was kind of fun, too. It was kind of similar, but then Vegas in the end winning 5-1 was just like, oh, okay. They went into California and just took them out. So good job, Vegas. I'd rather see Vegas there than Anaheim. I'm not a Ducks fan. You know, they knocked us out of the playoffs twice. And then Joel Quenneville's their coach. How many billion times did the Blackhawks knock us out? I'm not cheering for the Ducks. Sorry. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I can't. Heck, the North Stars almost moved to Anaheim, too. Bullcrap. You know, it's like, wouldn't that be the ultimate insult? Oh, Mighty Ducks, Minneapolis, and oh, this is so cool. Yeah, well, we're going to take your team and move them to Anaheim. Bleep you. You know, that's about what they did. Almost. So I'm not a big Ducks fan at all. God bless the original movie, though. The original. That one was fun. The Carolina Hurricanes, well, yeah, like they're finally going to play tonight. They haven't played since the last episode. I think it's been 2 episodes since the Carolina Hurricanes played, maybe 3. It's pretty crazy. Sweeping everybody so far. I don't think they're going to sweep Montreal. This is a legitimate team. They might. Montreal looks like they could win the Stanley Cup. And Dan Barreiro locally made a statement that the red jerseys for the Montreal Canadiens, he thinks they're the best jerseys in sports. You know, that's not a bad take at all. I think they're gorgeous. I like them too. You know, it's like sometimes you appreciate it more when you really pay attention. And I remember, was it 2 years ago? The Vikings were playing the New York Giants, 2014. It was a season opener, and the Giants were wearing like red and bluish jerseys. And people were making fun of them. Oh, they look like the Montreal Canadiens. And I'm like, I like those jerseys. What's wrong with you people? Why do you hate them? Why do you hate what the Giants had some kind of weird like third jersey they were wearing? It was very unique. Like I've never seen it before. And everybody was making fun of it. They look like the Montreal Canadiens. What are you doing? That's dumb. Like, I think that looks cool. And then it's like you put 2 and 2 together. I guess I like the Montreal Canadiens jerseys too then. So I do agree with Dan Barreiro. Yeah. Is it the best in sports? I'll take the North Stars, dang it. I'll take the classic North Stars with the N. We'll probably go without the black stripe. The little black stripe that came in the late 80s. And, you know, up to that Stanley Cup Finals run. Yeah, before they changed it to that Stars look. Which I thought was exciting at the time, but there was some pretty nonsense going on there. Some premeditated murder of Minnesota sports going on there. It was a premeditated murder there. So that was evil. Carolina, Montreal, who's going to win that one? I can't go against the Hurricanes. They haven't even lost a game yet. In fact, I think they're winning the Cup. I think Carolina's going to win the Stanley Cup. Yeah, that's where I'm foreshadowing. Impressive victory by the Vegas Golden Knights. Also, going into Colorado in Game 1. The Wild did not do this. Wild did not win a single game in Colorado. So our only win was that really good Game 3. Other than that, you know, we took a 3-0 lead in Colorado in Game 5. Like, bleep you, we're coming back for Game 6, and we'll be back for Game 7, you sons of biscuits, and we're gonna keep history going the way it's gone against you in Game 7s. And Colorado said, nope, you're not doing nothing. 4 goals straight, and the Wild lost. Bleepity bleep. Well, Colorado did score 2 goals after Vegas went up 3-0 in Game 1. They scored 2, but then Vegas did what the Wild didn't. Like, Sega does what Nintendo don't. That was the old commercial way back in the late 80s, early 90s, the prime of video games, I think. That's my opinion. Late 80s, early 90s. Anything after that just isn't as fun, in my opinion. Some good games here and there, but not as fun, man. Not as good. There was a charm of that era that just can't be beat. But even the early 80s with Atari and such can't be beat either. But off of that, if I clear my throat one more time, it'll be the 3,000th time in the show. So, what am I getting to? I have no idea. Vegas did what the Wild didn't. They scored an empty net goal, and the game was over. If only the Wild could have scored an empty net goal at some point during that stupid comeback, Game 6 would have happened, and history may have been different. Who knows? Wild would have maybe lost Game 6. There's a pretty good chance the Wild could have laid an egg and lost Game 6, but at least you would have gotten to that game. Timberwolves sure laid an egg in Game 6, didn't they, against the Spurs? The Spurs were like, Game 7, what are you talking about? Go away. and the Wolves quit. We'll talk about that tomorrow because I haven't even talked about that game yet. The last episode was the day of Game 6. And I decided to wait, let things kind of go for a little bit, and I could calm down too because I was pissed. Yeah, just like I was really pissed about the Wild losing to Colorado the day before, the day before last episode, right? I had a pretty good rant. Deservedly so. Vegas did what the Wild didn't. I think the Vegas Golden Knights can beat the Colorado Avalanche, and they have beat them historically. So they can. I think they can. Part of me is thinking they're going to pull off an upset here, and they're going to go to the Stanley Cup final. But Carolina is going to beat Montreal. It's going to be really tough, though. It's going to be like 6 or 7. But I think Carolina will outlast the Montreal Canadiens. In fact, I am going to say Carolina in 6. They will win in Montreal in Game 6 at the end of the day, but who knows? Anything could happen, obviously, but I'm sticking with my Carolina pick at the end of the day. For a while there, I kept thinking Buffalo was going to go to the final. Or actually, no, I have been on Carolina, but I thought Colorado was going to beat Carolina in the final, and I've changed that pick. So my original pick will be wrong if Carolina wins, and that's fine. It'll be like my new pick, basically. Either way, I see Carolina beating Vegas or Colorado in 6 or something in the Cup final. But who's going to win the Colorado series? The Vegas-Colorado series. I've got a sneaky feeling that Vegas is going to win that series. I've got a sneaky feeling. I could be way off. Colorado may win the next 5. Colorado may win the next 5. Okay, Avalanche in 7. Damn it. But yeah, Vegas is going to take them to the brink and Avalanche in 7. Yeah, it's not going to be that 5-game easy thing that we originally thought. A lot of us thought that, Vegas, Colorado in 7. Ugh. But Carolina wins the Cup in 6. They're going to win the Stanley Cup at home in Game 6 over the Colorado Avalanche. With that, we'll take a quick break and come back for Fan Interazione. And we are back here on Brave the Wild, segment number 2. And, well, I threw myself off here. I made a mistake. This is why I used to split it up into 3 segments, because segment number 2 usually is where I put the DraftKings ad. I completely forgot. Well, to do it in segment number 1. So my apologies. We're going to do it here. My apologies to DraftKings. I hope this is okay. So we're going to hear from DraftKings right here and now. The Stanley Cup playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has a new customer offer. When the ice gets coldest, the best players in the world show you exactly who they are. Dang it. Playoff warriors turn it up round by round, and DraftKings turns it up with them from the first round all the way to the Stanley Cup final. Bet player props. Bet live. From the opening faceoff to the final horn, every moment matters. New DraftKings customers bet just $5 and you get $100 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN so you're ready for the moment. That's code THPN. Turn $5 into $100 in bonus bets instantly. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. And Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer. Copyright 2026. NHL. All rights reserved. Alrighty then. Okay, sorry. I'm pretty sure that, I'm sure the interaction will be a little less. I didn't interact too much, but we do get to hear from our legendary pillar of Brave the Wild here. That would be Derek Felska at Crease Assist. Great podcast as well, the Crease Assist podcast. Looking forward to their next episode. They haven't recorded for a couple of weeks, I do believe. And, yep, looking forward to their next one for sure. I'm sure they're going to have a lot of interesting things to say. So do check that out when the time comes. So, Derek, yes. What was I? Well, first I'll lead into, like, I must have said something and he responded. Kind of opening things up. I was like, unlike the 2021 Cinderella team, this Canadiens Montreal, the Montreal Canadiens team, is a legit threat to win it all. Congratulations, Habs Connection. He didn't even like it. Aw, that's a podcast. They didn't even like it. That hurts. Anyhow, nobody liked it. That's funny. Derek is saying, well, Montreal's runs has been interesting. Getting by Carolina, who has been perfect in the playoffs, will be a giant hurdle. I agree. Yep, I agree. I think Carolina actually wins the Stanley Cup. So I do agree, yes. As I said, no, I'm just kidding. He was making fun of how people do that once, like a while back. It's like, we talked about this earlier. No, we didn't. We did not talk about this earlier. Lemon and tomato juice to the Carolina Hurricanes, by the way. Southern vibe, and I know people might think, Southern hockey, what the heck? Yeah, well, Carolina is awesome. You know what? Rod Brindamore, who won the Stanley Cup with the 2006 Carolina Hurricanes 20 years ago, is due to win a Stanley Cup as a head coach. He's done an amazing job. I loved Rod Brindamore as a player with the Philadelphia Flyers and the Carolina Hurricanes. I just loved him. Great player, tough, solid, excellent. Would have loved him on the Minnesota Wild. In fact, guess what? I way back when the Wild were first coming into existence and they had the first, was it PlayStation 1 game still at the time? I always imagined the Minnesota Wild trading for Rod Brindamore and then competing right away. Be kind of like a Golden Knights type of team. Like, we're not going to bleep around. And, well, I won the cup with the Wild in their first season in the PlayStation world, not in the real world. Yep. So that was PS1. Still what I believe would be the best PlayStation, but, it's all, we all have a right to our opinion. Hashtag BTWMN is what we have so far. There's a three clip miniature lightning round. We could do the sound here. And bear with me, I'm getting used to this brand new audio thing. I did the C cleaner in it. I had a lot of stuff update as well. So it's a brand new version of Audacity, I guess, and it's a little different, but it's working. At least I hope it is. There was one a while back. I was like, what the hell is this? It didn't make any sense. So I'm sure they made updates where it's kind of like old meets new kind of thing, where it makes sense, but it's different. Yeah. Anyhow, the lightning round, miniature lightning round here, and I'll check and see if there's any replies earlier as well. Okay. Yep, he is replying to something. Derek is. Yes. Okay. So the Minnesota Wild announced we are entering a multi-year ECHL affiliation agreement with the Jacksonville Icemen. Jacksonville Icemen. Rolls right off your tongue. Jacksonville and Ice. Huh. Well, anyhow, just like the Solar Bears. Remember that? The Solar Bears, and it was at Orlando. They were an affiliate many, many moons ago. It was ECHL as well, beginning with 26-27. So it's no longer the Iowa Hardlanders. So now when we say Iowa, we mean the Iowa Wild, not like, whoops, which one do you mean? That kind of thing. I used to have fun with that. Derek says, the multi-year agreement probably means the Heartlanders are probably not coming back, though. Yep. I understand. And that is too bad, because I'm going to miss the Heartlanders. That was kind of cool. It was a cool name, cool look, and there was Iowa. It was closer. Ooh, here we go. Here we go. Oh, I like this. Yep, I was hoping somebody would respond, and Derek did. The prospect Don, who I followed, and he followed back right away, which was really cool. So I'll take that in a heartbeat. He might be a nice guest someday. I've been so lazy about having guests on, even including having Derek on. I mean, and of course, last time the stupid teams blew up on us. That was disappointing. Definitely not Derek's fault, or I don't think it was either our fault. Definitely not Derek's fault, though. It was heartbreaking. Dang it. I mean, 'cause I could tell he had a lot to say, and I did too. And not that we can go on forever because of the tight schedule. I hope I wasn't stressing Derek out with that. That's what I'm always afraid of, too. Like I got to hurry up. I don't mean to be rude like that. Anyhow, the prospect, Don, now that I've babbled 3,000 times, who is a prospect you thought would be a star but never developed to that level? I said Mikhail Granlund. because Granlund never became a star. He didn't. I really liked him, but that might not be the best example because he's been a really nice NHL player for the most part, but he never became that star. Like a lot of us thought he was going to be really good, you know? Kind of like Ricky Rubio in the NBA. He never blossomed into a star. Though a lot of local people will write 3-paragraph essays about how stupid and wrong you are and the fallacies of your statement. I ended up blocking the guy. It's like, dude, the guy was a complete jackass. You know how, like, yeah, it was too much. Anyhow, Derek says, I was really hoping Patrick O'Sullivan would turn into a great second-round steal. Well, he had an okay NHL career. It didn't really do much for Minnesota, unfortunately. I agree with that one a lot, actually. That's a good one. Patrick O'Sullivan, I thought, was going to be really good. And a lot of people did. That was back when, see, we drafted Brent Burns in the first round and Patrick in the second, right? Patrick O'Sullivan in the second round. And a lot of people thought, man, the Wild got really lucky here. I mean, it could have easily been O'Sullivan first round and Brent Burns second round. And now, in hindsight, the first round pick, we made the right pick, but traded him away because of we had our eyes on Charlie Coyle and I don't know, the Wild must not have thought Brent Burns was going to pan out to be as good as we thought, even though he did get into the 40-point range as a pretty young player. He kept running into concussions. Now Brent Burns is still skating in the National Hockey League. Patrick O'Sullivan, that kind of thing. And not only is Brent Burns still skating, he is a surefire Hall of Famer. I mean, and he has been, the whole talk about him was durability, and holy crap. Durable, huh? Brent Burns, durable? Yeah, hasn't he played like 1,000 straight games? I mean, most players are like, oh my God, I played 1,000 games in the league. Here's your silver stick. 1,000 games consecutively. That's like Brett Favre standards right there. I mean, that's pretty amazing. It's awesome. Say what you want about Brett Favre. The guy was a durable mamma jamma. Next, please. Oh, looks like there's only one left, actually. That is all of it. Oh, man. Well, let's see if maybe there's some notifications that were replies to something. Oh, man, that might be it. Okay, nope, there's replies. I thought there were. I just couldn't see them. Steve Miller with a couple here. Great to hear from you, Brand Steve. Steve Miller. Steve Miller is a part of that Crease Assist podcast with Derek, Kalisha, and Teresa. Sometimes, or more often than not, yeah, one or two of them are out, but it is what it is. What am I looking at here? I'm going weird here. What was this reply about? Yep, I said Mikhail Granlund. Okay, so Steve Miller responded with, at .68 points per game career, he is a borderline star. He's had star seasons all 3 years he played with San Jose. I suppose so. I mean, it's kind of like with, yeah, that's what I thought. That probably wasn't the best example, so I'm sorry. Steve continues, and of course, his final 2 seasons with the Wild, he was almost in superstar territory. Yeah, he was pretty good. Then we let him go. Yeah. Once he says clocking .85 and 0.87 points per game. Yes. Yep. That is true. I remember being really sad actually when we traded him. I'm like, we traded him. We actually traded him. I did like didn't we get Kevin Fiala back? I think that's who it was, right? No? Yes, we traded him to Nashville. So it was, I keep thinking of the Kings. No, we traded Fiala to the Kings, and that's how we got Brock Faber and Liam Mogren. But yes, Brock Faber. God bless Liam Mogren, wishing him the best there. Those are good points, though, Steve. I don't disagree with you. Apologize if I'm always kind of slow on things. Oh, and Derek says they announced this a week ago about the. Yeah, yep. I suppose so. I guess they did. They just kind of posted it again. I guess so. I'm sorry. Announced this over a week ago. Ouch, Derek. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing you. Many rules following. Thank you. I think that's it, though. Yep. That is it. Yep. So thank you guys. I appreciate it, though. I'm teasing you, Derek. I know you're not being snide at me. I know. I'm just teasing you. It's embarrassing on my side, though, if I missed it. So I apologize. But, I figured partially I post stuff like that, even if it's old, to kind of include it in the show and get conversation. That's kind of my main purpose, even if it is like an older thing, that type of thing, just to get conversation going, and add it to the show because I don't know. I think it's important, even though it's ECHL versus AHL. Like AHL is a really big deal. But still, ECHL is a big deal too because it's that double A to kind of maybe wake somebody up a little bit, get their timing and their confidence up, that type of thing. And who knows? And I strongly agree with your statement about Carolina being a huge hurdle for the Canadiens. It's just, Canadiens are a threat, yes, but Carolina will probably beat them. They probably will. We'll see we'll see what happens though, won't we? I am picking Carolina to win it all. With that, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys for jumping on board in the conversation. Sorry I've been a little bit quiet. But I guess a lot of people have been quiet and a lot of people haven't been. Like Derek, Steve, guys like that. You guys are 12 months, boy. And I think that's a good thing to be like that. And I'm going to try to keep Brave the Wild going to go to at least one show a month, if not more than that, during this off season. I'm going to try to keep going to that, especially now that I'm at least semi-retired from the lawn service. So I will be more active with Brave the Wild in the off season than I have been in the past. So love that. With that, though, thank you so much for listening. God bless you. And we should be back next week to continue some more conversation.